Agents are increasingly under attack as Homeland Security announces a more than 800% increase in assaults on its officers.
Oh, sad. It comes as authorities are capturing the last remaining, or they did capture the last remaining suspect that was connected to that ambush attack on officers down in the great state of Texas earlier this month.
It's just unbelievable. Lucas Tomlinson joins us live in Washington with the details. Good morning, Lucas. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Lawrence, Ainsley, and Brian. The Department of Homeland Security is blaming Democratic politicians for a spike in recent assaults on U.S. immigration and customs officers. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem directing her ire at California Governor Gavin Newsom, posting, "Just in, our brave ICE law enforcement are now facing, as you mentioned, an 830% increase in assaults against them. This new data reflects the violence against our law enforcement in cities across the country in the last few weeks. Politicians across the country, regardless of political stripe, must condemn this. Gavin Newsom, we're looking at you." The FBI announced it has captured a former Marine Corps reservist accused of shooting at ICE officers at a Texas detention facility on July 4th. The FBI Dallas field office says it apprehended this man, 32-year-old Benjamin Song, Tuesday afternoon in Dallas. Charges include 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer and 3 counts of discharging a firearm. He's accused of firing 2 AR-15 style rifles at 2 correctional officers and 1 Alvarado police officer. Song allegedly joined a group of up to 12 others in a premeditated attack on the officers at the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado on Independence Day. Now, President Trump recently said he thinks very stupid people on the left are getting financed to carry out attacks like this on ICE agents and other police officers, noting the suspects were kitted out with new military-style rifles and other tactical gear, guys.
All right, do we know how that police officer's doing, Lucas? He was shot in the neck, the guy down in Texas.
Not immediately. They say he's in stable condition, Ainsley.
Okay, well, he'll survive, right?
Thank God.
Right.
Thanks, Lucas.
So there's so many different elements to immigration. Number one, what Lucas was talking about with ICE, right? Yep. Trying to get the 8 to 20 million, whoever came here during the Biden years, and round them up, and then find out the criminals amongst them. But the one thing is clear, the president's accomplished one goal quicker than anyone thought possible, maybe even him. Oh, yeah. He has totally shut down the southern border. Did you see these numbers in June?
Incredible.
I mean, it's just incredible when you look at the story that the president was able to do with no new legislation, no new money. 25, look at the big ball right here. For June, the border numbers are very clear. 25,000 total encounters nationwide. That's at every border sector. When you look at the apprehensions, historically low, a little over 8,000. When you look at the southwest border apprehensions, it's 15% lower than the previous month at 6,000. And then when you look at June 28th, talking about the lowest single day total in agency history of 136. And I think this is the true number right there. Parole releases is at 0. I think it's safe to say that we finally have operational control
First time in our lifetime.
Of the border. The border is secure.
Well, and when Kristi Noem, when she said the assaults on police officers, or I mean on ICE officers, has gone up 830%. Many of them are blaming the Democrats and the mainstream media, saying their lies and their fake stories continue to stir hate and violence. When you look at what some of these lawmakers are doing, you have that congresswoman out in California who shared ICE employees' business cards with violent groups. And one of those business cards resulted, the address was on there. They went over to the guy. As a result, the ICE official was attacked, hit with a rock, taken to the hospital, and had stitches. We've been telling you about this story. Also, you have the congresswoman, LaMonica McIver. Remember that story when she went to the detention center in Newark?
She assaulted him.
Yes, she is accused of storming an ICE detention center in Newark and allegedly assaulting an ICE officer. You have ICE officers that were doxxed and threatened by Antifa-affiliated groups in Portland, Oregon, and says the group posted pictures and personal addresses of these ICE officers.
Yeah, you had 5 Iranians who were nabbed at the U.S. northern border. Keep in mind, they just had another assassination attempt at, threat at President Trump. Did you see that?
Offering, what, $40 million for someone who kills Donald
And it was,
Trump?
what do they call it, crowdsourcing?
Yes.
So everyone was able to chip in. So you wonder, Secret Service, you better be on your game. I hope you are. Sean Curran's running things. But the other subplot, I think, to the immigration story, which has so many different moves, we always looked at these NGOs. They're getting these numbers, so people will cross. They'll end up with the Catholic Charities and others others. They get this huge sum of money. And then these guys come across, these men and women come across some unaccompanied minors. They come in, they get their clothes, they get there, and they're shipped out. And I'm thinking, how do they get this money? Where are they actually going? Well, now they're doing an investigation, and it turns out that FEMA funneled massive grants to NGOs through what became the Shelter and Service Program. Those funds help cover hotel stays, transportation, other perks. They're starting to look at 200 separate NGOs. Where's the money? What did you do? Who commissioned you? And by the way, I like an accounting of all of it.
And don't forget what Elon Musk said during Doge. He said that's taxpayer. Those are taxpayer dollars.
He said it was one of the biggest boondoggles that he was able to
because what happens is the government gives all this money to the NGOs because they pretend to do great work, and many of them do. But some of them are anti-Israel. Some of them are anti-ICE or law enforcement. They get a big chunk of change from the federal government, and then they can spend it however they want, and we can't track it.
So you got to expose those groups and all, as well as the organizations now that are going after the cops as well.